Welcome to our Trump Wars series. To avoid spoilers, I recommend catching up on the previous chapters using the link in the description below.
Star Wars, Episode 8, Echoes of the Ancients. And so they gathered for the Great Jedi Council. Forgotten Jedi Masters of old, spanning a millennia, now sat in their midst. Alongside old friends and brothers lost in battle. So many of them had been overcome with joy at the return of those closest who had been killed fighting for the Jedi cause. Amongst them, Anakin, who now found himself seated between his old mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Qui-Gon Jinn, the master he never had the chance to apprentice. The joy of reunion was frustratingly brief, yet they had no choice but to act immediately if they were to stand a chance against the combined strength of the Sith of old and new. The return of Obi-Wan had lifted much of the burden Anakin had been carrying for all these years after witnessing his murder at the hands of the villainous Darth Hillary. They now caught up on all that had happened since his death. And so I told Maul, through the Force, as you fought him during the Clone Wars. Qui-Gon animatedly told Anakin, as other Jedi around them listened inattentively. If you let the dark side go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you, I will not pursue you, but if you don't, I will look for you, I will find you, and I will kill you. Qui-Gon paused for a moment for dramatic effect before roaring with laughter. You should have seen his little horny red face. Master Jin, the dark side of humor you have, chuckled Yoda. Much probing you have done of this Sith Lord through the Force. Penetrated you have his mind. While the surrounding Jedi laughed, Anakin asked a question which had fascinated him for years. Obi-Wan, what does it feel like to die? Well, said Obi-Wan, a mischievous smirk on his face. I was watching you, through the Force, you dirty bugger. Watching me? What do you mean, Obi-Wan? Asked Anakin in surprise. A lightsaber is not designed to enter the body in that manner, regardless of what Padme thinks. It's not what it looks like, Obi-Wan, whispered Anakin defensively, his cheeks flush with embarrassment. Why were you watching Padme and I anyway? I was checking if you had mastered your training, responded Obi-Wan. Besides, your technique was off. Have you learned nothing in my absence? Well, Master Trump advised that I should grab them by the... But he was cut off as Qui-Gon now stood to address the packed council. We have been returned to you in a stroke of sheer fortune, but as we crossed over, the Force showed us many Sith also returning. We are heading into the Great War, and I fear our only hope is to trust in the living Force, exclaimed Qui-Gon. It is clear to me that the Force has chosen Master Trump to be our commander and chief in this trial. I therefore urge this council to appoint him Grand Master. Thank you, Qui-Lone. You're a great guy, responded Trump. Now, from what we all seen at the CNN studio, it looks like Sleepy Joe's being possessed by a demon. To be honest, I feel sorry for the demon, but hey, I did warn everyone he's a bad guy. All council members nodded solemnly. We have a small opportunity we could use to our advantage with all these Sith returning. I expect there will be a lot of fighting within their party, not unlike the Democrats. What can I say? There's no honor amongst thieves, but if we strike fast enough, we can destroy them while they're still divided. So, I propose we pull together our own strike team of only the most powerful Jedi and strike at the head of the snake before the war can start. And how many Jedi do you envision forming this elite team? Inquired Mace Windu. 9 Master Jedi will form this Fellowship of the Force, Trump declared. Very well. Who do you choose, Master Trump? Asked Mace. You and I will go, along with Yoda. Qui-Gon, Anakin, Mundi, Plo Koon, and Obi-Wan responded, Trump pointing to each in turn around the room. Mace nodded in acceptance of the invitation. Of this Fellowship of 9, who the last member will be? Asked Yoda. At that moment, an overwhelming presence filled the room, its intensity compelling them into a reverent silence. A voice, ancient and profound, permeated the air. I, too, shall join your endeavor, it said. The council sensed the immense power, a force not felt since the revelation of Trump's connection to the Force. The learned amongst them realized, closing their eyes and searching for answers within the Force as the newcomer materialized within their midst. "Returned. The Prime Jedi has," announced Yoda. Over on the shadowed vastness of Mustafar, Darth Sidious brooded over his dark thoughts. The air was thick with the acrid scent of molten lava, yet the fiery rivers that carved through the blackened landscape seemed almost serene compared to the turmoil that churned within him. The Force whispered of unrest, of ancient Sith spirits stirring from death, having become one with the dark side of the Force, each a formidable presence that now dared to challenge his supremacy. The return of these Sith ancestors, including the master he had so ruthlessly betrayed, Darth Plagueis, unsettled him. Their awakening from the grip of death was a disturbance in the Force he had not anticipated, a variable that threatened the delicate balance of power he had so meticulously crafted. Sidious had long discarded the Sith's rule of two as a means to his end, but the resurrection of these long-dead Sith presented a conundrum that even he, in all his foresight, struggled to address. Could he rally these revenants under his banner, he wondered? A temporary alliance might indeed tip the scales in his favor, ensuring the ultimate downfall of the Jedi and their newfound champions. Yet, what chaos would follow in the aftermath of victory? A civil war among the Sith was inevitable, a battle of wills and power that could very well lead to his own undoing. And then there was Biden, his once puppet, now an enigma. The transformation that had overtaken him was profound, a metamorphosis triggered by forces Sidious could neither control nor comprehend. This new Biden, reborn as a vessel for an ancient and malevolent darkness, the Witch King. Was this Witch King now ally or adversary? The uncertainty gnawed at him, a rare sensation for one so accustomed to dominance. The approach of a figure through the mists of Mustafar pulled Sidious from his contemplations. The silhouette materialized from the smoke, its presence commanding yet enigmatic. Darth Revan stood before him, a legend reborn, his eyes burning with an intensity that matched the volcanic landscape. "Darth Revan, you have returned," Sidious intoned, his voice a mix of curiosity and caution. "The galaxy stands on the brink of a war unlike any before. Your arrival is timely." Revan's response was as cryptic as the man himself. "The galaxy churns, Darth Sidious. The Force seeks balance, and I have been awakened to serve its will. Your empire, your ambitions, they are but ripples in an ocean, like piss in a flowing stream." Sidious regarded Revan with a wary respect. Here was a Sith Lord of unparalleled wisdom and power, a master of both the dark and the light. Revan's allegiance was his own, beholden to neither Sidious nor the ancient codes that once governed their order. "We stand at a crossroads," Sidious conceded, his gaze never leaving Revan. "The Jedi amass their forces, emboldened by the fallen we ourselves banished. You speak of balance, then let us balance the scales together. Join me, and we shall cast down our mutual foes." Revan's gaze was unreadable. "Your vision is narrow, Sidious. I walk a path you cannot follow, but our goals may yet align. For now." The alliance, if it could be called such, was one of convenience, a temporary truce between titans. Sidious knew the stakes had never been higher. As Revan vanished back into the mists from which he came, Sidious turned his attention to the war that loomed on the horizon. The chessboard had been set, the pieces moving of their own accord, and he, the Dark Lord of the Sith, would need to play the game of his life to emerge victorious. For now, Sidious mused, let the galaxy tremble at the return of its ancient masters. Let the Jedi come with their newfound hope. He would be ready. They would all see. The dark side was eternal and he, its emperor. Back in the Supreme Jedi Council, a silence fell as the gathered masters observed the humanoid-like creature that had materialized in their midst. The Prime Jedi, the progenitor of their order, the very embodiment of balance within the Force, had returned to them at their most desperate hour. Anakin, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and the rest of the council members rose to their feet in an instinctive show of respect and reverence for the Jedi who had founded their order. Master Yoda, his eyes wide with recognition and respect, spoke first. Great honor it is. In our time of need, you have returned. The Prime Jedi nodded, his gaze sweeping over those assembled. The Force flows through all things, yet it is unbalanced. The darkness rises, and with it, the galaxy teeters on the brink of destruction. Trump, intrigued by the Prime Jedi's presence, stepped forward. We face a threat unlike any before it. Not even ISIS was this bad. The Sith are coming. We need to fight back. Our situation is more dire than any of you realize. Worlds are colliding. The fabric of reality is being woven by a new evil entity now, Balenciaga. Balenciaga, rippled through the council, a mix of bewilderment and concern in their whispers. The Prime Jedi continued. Master Trump, your arrival in this galaxy was no mere coincidence. I have foreseen the dire consequences of inaction. Evil, in its forms, is mutating, evolving, and spreading, threatening the very essence of the Force. What have you seen? Hillary? Asked Trump, concern rising in his voice. Trump's attention was momentarily diverted to an oddly familiar, obnoxious-looking can on the table. He recognized now with horror the logo and face printed on it. It was a disgusting can of Bud Light. How on earth had it ended up here, in this galaxy far, far away? So, the liberal agenda is here, he muttered under his breath. The Prime Jedi's reply was grim. Indeed, as has another fugitive from your realm, whose deeds darken the threshold of morality. Who? Hillary? She's been here a while, buddy. No, it is the one they call the bad boy for life. P. Diddy, responded the Prime Jedi. Diddy, wait, none of this makes any sense. What does he have to do with any of this? Asked Trump, confused. Is he a Sith as well now? No, he fled justice on your world. I warn you all, he is prone to the violation of men. I would urge all of you to remain cautious, for this affliction is worse than death. One such tainted by this violation will have their unity and connection to the Force forever severed. A palpable fear washed over the assembly. So not only do we have to fight the Sith, but we're also being attacked by the scum of the earth now. Literally, shouted Trump in outrage. Yoda interjected, voicing the fear of all Jedi present. A defense we must devise. But defeat this molester of men, how do we? The Prime Jedi's gaze settled on Yoda, and his response was short. We must be notorious. Puzzled by this cryptic response, the Council pondered its potential meaning in contemplative silence that lingered until the Prime Jedi offered further insight. The Force has chosen you, Master Trump, not for your prowess in business, but for your connection with the light side. Once the war is won, we the Jedi shall accompany you back to your own world and restore order there also. It's a deal, said Trump emphatically, as he imagined how easy dismantling the deep state would be with these Master Jedi at his side. Qui-Gon spoke for the first time since the arrival of the Prime Jedi. Then it is agreed. We will trust in the living Force and mobilize this strike team to finally bring an end to the Sith and balance to the Force. Good, said Trump. Now let's all do some meditation, guys. As they closed their eyes, Trump was suddenly enveloped by a vision so vivid it transcended imagination. He found himself on the scorched plains of Mustafar, the heat unmistakable, the sulfuric stench making his eyes water, and the clamor of clashing lightsabers around him as a great battle unfolded before him.
Thanks for joining us on this adventure. If you enjoyed the journey and are eager for more wild fan fiction, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your fellow fans, and subscribe for more episodes. And if you're as enchanted by the idea of Middle-earth meeting Hogwarts as we are, make sure to check out our series exploring this magical crossover. Your support brings these worlds to life. Until next time, keep the fantasy alive.